Good evening, it's Colin here from the B2B Club, and tonight I'm joined by Alan Crockert of Alan Crockert Consulting. Hi Alan, how are you?
I'm good, Colin, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks, very well. So some of you know Alan is one of our first B2B mentors to join the new programme, and tonight Alan focuses on kind of three key areas within his business. The first one being business startups, second one being businesses looking to grow, and the other one being exit strategies. So tonight that's what we're going to be speaking about. Is that the case, Alan?
Yeah, absolutely. Perhaps with more of a focus on the exit, but they're all kind of inextricably linked anyway. So
yeah, fantastic. So first of all, tell us a bit about yourself. How did you get to be where you are today? Kind of what's your own business experience?
Well, I don't want to get too far back. Obviously, as you can see, there's a line or two here. So in the forehead, you might have noticed. So been around for a while. I was involved in the recruitment industry for a long time, Colin. And latterly, in terms of the last 10 years of that, which was 10 years ago, I was involved as the managing director of an Edinburgh-based business with 4 locations, 60 employees at one point. Mm-hmm. So that was an interesting decade for me in terms of the journey. And it was really off the back of that I decided to put those experiences to good use, I guess.
Fantastic. And well, I guess the one thing we were talking about business strategy, I know you'll probably agree, but a lot of people I speak to as well, they don't have a plan in place. It's not really built into the kind of day-to-day model, if you like. They're not thinking about what they're going to do in 10, 15, 20 years' time. Is that something you find as well?
I think it's funny you should bring that up, actually, because for the past, I've been very lucky. For the past 5 years, I've been very busy. Mm-hmm. And kind of quieting down in the summer there, and it gave me an opportunity to go out and start to network again and speak to a whole load of business owners. Mm-hmm. And what struck me this time around, and perhaps it was like that before and I just never noticed it, was that I would say something like 50% of the people that I speak to, business owners, have got no ultimate goal. Yeah. There's no destination there. Mm-hmm. And it got to the point last week where I thought, maybe I'm expecting too much from the owners. And I spoke to the owner of an accountancy practice who's got an economics background, handily, and he worked as a business consultant. Yeah, young guy in his late 30s, very switched on. And I asked him the question about how key he thought an exit plan was. Mm-hmm. And he said exactly what I hoped he would say. He said every single decision that's made in the business should be made with that exit in mind.
Absolutely.
So if you don't have a plan, then your decisions can be very short term or indeed reactive to the situation you find yourself in. So yeah, absolutely key.
Okay. And can you tell me from your own experiences, what's the biggest thing you've learned over the years from obviously you're managing 50 plus people in a business to what you're doing just now? What's the biggest value bomb, if you like, that you've picked up over the years?
I think it's to get to know, first of all, your own strengths and weaknesses, what you do well and what you're naturally good at, and to focus on making these strengths even stronger.
Yeah.
But then once you know where your strengths lie, is to build a team round about you who will complement your skill set.
I guess that's where a lot of people go wrong. They're not willing to open up the business to other people. They want to try and do it all themselves, and it's not always possible. I know certainly myself in the old days, finance was never my strongest point. I tried to be bookkeeper, accountant, the whole lot, and it wasn't my cup of tea at all, and to my detriment at one point. So having people around you to take away those stresses and let you focus on what you're good at, I guess, is where a lot of people should be focusing. Yeah.
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head, and especially in finance, because there's a considerable number of people that set up in business, and they've got that kind of entrepreneurial spirit about them. A lot of them are naturally good business development or salespeople, and that's why they're setting up in their own, because they've got that client network and feel that they can generate a business. But honestly, looking back, Colin, my business would never have grown. I say mine. It wasn't my business. I was the MD of it, but there was another 4 people involved, and we would never have grown to the size that we did without our finance director.
Yeah.
Because that's not my background either. But so it's just critically important.
Yeah, having the right people in about you. So tell me the types of businesses that you're kind of working with then, just now, kind of, is there particular areas that you're kind of focused on? Obviously, you've got a background in recruitment and things, but kind of, are you working with business types of all sorts, or?
Yeah, it's strange because when I speak to some people, they automatically think that I should be spending all my time with recruitment business owners. Mm-hmm. And well, yeah, that makes natural sense because you know a bit more about that than you do about any other type of business. However, I think you and I both know, Colin, that most business owners share common ground in the sense that the biggest challenges they've got is people and cash. Mm-hmm. So, with that in mind, there's a commonality running through, every business pretty much. Mm-hmm. Those are the challenges. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've got a wide variety of clients.
Okay. And tell me, so when it comes to the exit planning or the exit strategy, kind of, what process do you kind of go through with your clients then, kind of, to establish kind of, I guess, as a short term, a medium term, and a long term plan to help them achieve those goals?
I think it's a huge subject, Colin, that mm-hmm. You can probably talk about for a few hours, but obviously I haven't got that. I think first of all, it's to establish the reality of why you've set up in business. Mm-hmm. To try and understanding there is nothing wrong with not having a big payday planned for 5 years' time. Mm-hmm. That's the beauty of getting into business, of course, as you well know too, that you've got the flexibility to make decisions for mm-hmm. yourself.
Yeah.
And it's a moving feast. You're allowed to change plans. Business mm-hmm. plans are there to be tweaked, but it helps if you know exactly where you're going with it. So if you did want to, and I hate to use the 5 years as a number, but if you wanted to build a business to sell it in 5 years through a management buyout or a trade sale for that matter, then you need to build up your balance sheet. You need to build up your profitability. You need to understand the due diligence processes that you need to go through. The legal, the financial, the management due diligence processes are tough. Yeah. And so silly things like, your monthly board meetings, you need to have minutes for it. Mm-hmm. Because if I'm going to come in and give you money for your business, I want to be sure that it's been run well.
Yeah.
And that you're in a place that you actually plan to be, mm-hmm. and there's succession planning in there, etc., etc. So all of that detail helps to increase the multiplier that you'll get for your business at the end of the day. So, and it can take years and years. So it's all of it links together almost from day one.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Say that again. Sorry.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And obviously touching on the other points because they are all linked. Obviously, you've got experience with the startups as well. It's tragic how many new business startups are not working out these days. Yep. Have you got your own thoughts on why that is? Again, is it all down to understanding the market? Is it to planning, to knowing what your kind of exit strategy should be? Where do you find these main weaknesses fall?
That's a big question again, and I think it's trying to understand the business owners' mm-hmm. strengths and where they want to take the business, the time scales, because you don't want to dampen MD's enthusiasm, mm-hmm. but the reality is running a business, as you know, Colin, is tough.
Yeah,
and there'll be different challenges, and I think this is the main thing. So the challenges that you get during a startup mm-hmm. will be very different from the challenges that you'll get once you start employing people. Mm-hmm. And once you start building that business and growing it, so there'll be different challenges. It's the amount of different hats that an owner needs to wear. Mm-hmm. And obviously key to that is having the right team round about you, but you need to be able to afford the right team. Yep. So, the timing's critical, the planning's critical. And then, of course, when you're building for exit, it's perhaps arguably another set of circumstances that you need to try and build. But I'm probably making that sound, it's all about challenges and it's all tough. Yeah, it's tough running a business, mm-hmm. but if you get it right, the prize is considerable.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm guessing there's no company too big or small, as far as who you would be prepared to work with. Then,
I think it's about the owner or the owners, Colin.
Yeah,
I think they've got to be committed to making the changes that they want. So if they're sitting talking to somebody like me, presumably it's because they want to do something different.
Yeah.
They want to improve their business, scale their business. maybe even downsize their business on occasion. So it doesn't matter what it is. It's all about the relationship between me and the owners and the honesty and the commitment that they've got.
And if they're not prepared to be honest and open and willing to change, then I guess your hands are pretty tied there as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I know what it's like, Colin. I mean, I didn't bring anybody in. I had a board of directors, but it can still be a lonely place because you feel sometimes that the onus is on you to make all the big shouts and all the big decisions in a business. And had I known at the time, but I probably had an ego at the time, and I probably, it's all about pride. You're in that position where you're supposed to be the one that's got all the answers. So I understand how tough it can be. Just sharing it with somebody else, especially somebody externally.
No, it's good to have someone to bounce ideas off as well, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
It can be a very lonely place, and as more often than not is the case, kind of taking these things home, you're taking it back to a partner, a wife, a husband, and who maybe aren't in that situation, and they're not able to kind of share the same values and don't see it from the same perspective. So having someone with your experience can really make a difference to kind of getting these things off your chest and also getting that advice and experience going forward.
Well, I think it's really important to get objective comment, shall we say?
Yeah.
Because there's no point in me. I've been through it, and I know what it's like. Telling somebody it'll be fine and you'll be okay and you'll get there, and just for being positive's sake isn't good enough. Owners need to understand the reality of what they're going through. Yeah. And therefore, to be honest and objective, for me, is the only way to move forward. Okay, good.
And from what I hear, you're willing to, if anyone's wanting to have a chat with you, you're going to buy them coffee, I hear.
Of course. And I'll probably owe you a couple, but I think there's got to be a relationship there, and there's got to be an agreement and an understanding of exactly the journey ahead and what lies ahead and what I can do. But I'm also at an age, Colin, that I know what I can do and I know what I can't do.
Yeah.
So, I'll be pretty honest about it in terms of I'll know if I can help that individual or those individuals, and there'll be some people that it just won't work with. So that coffee is really key to.
So there you go, folks.
Conversation started.
Anyone who's wanting to have a chat with Alan, I'll drop a link to his email underneath the video once it's posted. Drop him a line. Alan's based in the central belt of Scotland, so I'm sure he's fairly flexible to where he can catch up. If you're not in the central belt of Scotland and you still want to speak to Alan, you've got sources like this on Zoom, Skype calls, etc. There's no limits to what you can do these days in online technology. So don't put off if you can't actually meet physically face to face. You've still got things like this to do as well. So Alan, that's fantastic. I've got a feeling this is going to become a regular occurrence for a wee catch up, and obviously we've got so much more to speak about you and the business and other areas where you can facilitate some support there as well. So I think we'll call it a wrap at that for tonight, and I'll drop a link to Alan's details below so anyone can get in touch. And if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to contact either Alan or myself, and we'll let you know when the next Zoom call is going to be. So, Alan, thank you very much for joining us.
Cheers, Colin. Good to see you.
We'll hopefully catch up next time soon. All right.
Okay. All right.
Bye-bye.